Advanced Warfare is known for having some of the worst guns in Call of Duty history. It's also known for having some of the worst guns in FPS history, just in general. Now, I know this series could be renamed the least practical guns in FPS history based on the last episode and this episode, but we're going down a rabbit hole and there will be guns that just aren't practical, they have no niche, they're completely trumped by other guns around it. It's going to be hard for anybody to convince me that this gun has no place in the journey of finding the worst gun in FPS history. Did Advanced Warfare just crash while I was trying to make a class? What the fuck? Okay, I was just trying to make a class. I'm sorry. The NA-45. What can I say that hasn't already been said by every Call of Duty YouTuber ever? I can't think of a less practical way to kill anybody in a first-person shooter. Like, you could give me a knife and I'd be happier seeing how there's less variables with a knife. So how does the NA-45 perform? What does it do that's so impractical? Well, it is a semi-automatic 2-round fire system. The primer, or the first round, explodes when the catalyst, or second round, hits nearby. So basically you fire an explosive at somebody, and then you have to hit near that explosive with the second shot to set the explosion off. There is a perk in Advanced Warfare that increases explosive damage, but you know guys, we're not trying to find out what's the best combination or the best setup for weapons. We're trying to find out the worst gun as it stands on its own, naked and unashamed. Although the NA-45 does have an awful lot to be ashamed of. I mean, Advanced Warfare is such a fast-paced, ruthless shooter. I would love to know Sledgehammer Games' mental process, the developer's process, for coming up with a weapon that fires an explosive that then needs to be hit to explode. If this was a special weapon or a launcher, I would understand, but this takes a slot amongst the sniper rifle category in Advanced Warfare. The NA-45 can catch you some satisfying long-range explosion kills, but that doesn't make the gun good. Just because you can clear off some people from a flag on domination because they didn't see you coming doesn't mean the gun is good. When a weapon needs loads of factors to become viable, to become usable, I just consider it an unviable weapon. If this fired a single small explosion, I might give it a pass because it could be satisfying to knock somebody out of the air with that, and there's a practical use to that, I guess. But no, it fires an explosive device and then you have to land a second shot near it. It would be really cool if the NA-45 fired the explosive device, and then when you hit the trigger again, it detonates it. That'd be really cool. It would probably be a little bit overpowered or at least cheesy, so they'd have to tone down the blast radius, but I'd be okay with that. At least I can see a use for that. A very niche use that requires still a lot of factors, but not as many as, okay, fire the explosive and then keep it in your sight so you can hit it again. I remember during the life cycle of Advanced Warfare, I fired the explosive into somebody and then shot them in the leg with the catalyst shot, and they didn't explode because they were too far away on the person's body, I guess. Fuck me, like, what's the point of the fucking gun? Again, if this was a special weapon, I'd be okay with it. There's a reason I haven't talked about the crossbows or ballistic knives of Call of Duty, because those are special weapons. I don't expect much from a weapon category like special weapons because obviously it's a special weapon. It's telling you right off the bat that it's not supposed to be practical and special. But when a weapon like this is in the sniper rifle category, all I can think of is they could have put another bolt action in, or a really fun semi-auto spamming rifle, or something fun, but this is so niche. This requires so many things to line up for it to be useful. If the enemy is using flak jacket, you're fucked. You can get right in somebody's face, fire the primer between their feet, and then hit the primer with the catalyst, and you get a hit marker, and it says they have flak jacket, and then they kill you. The one thing I will give this weapon is it can get a one-shot headshot. Something I was trying to do in the gameplay here, but then I found out that my sensitivity was on 5 and it was kind of making it hard to do little adjustments. I had been playing with higher sensitivities in other games recently, so yeah, I had to raise my sensitivity a little bit. I think I do get a headshot in the gameplay. I don't know, but you can get a one-shot headshot. So you fire your 2 shots, there's a little explosion, it is completely countered by flak jacket. In a game that is as fast-paced as Advanced Warfare, this weapon seems totally out of place. There is some skill, there is some finesse, there is some things you can do with this weapon that is satisfying and fun. But it shouldn't have taken up a slot in the sniper category. I don't think it's practical, I don't think it's viable. And not just competitively viable, I've goofed around with this gun a lot in Advanced Warfare. It's not even goofing viable. Like, you can get a satisfying kill, or maybe even 5 satisfying kills in a match, but there's something about it that's just so strenuous. And it's so disheartening when you fire the catalyst shot next to the primer and it doesn't go off because it wasn't close enough, so you just go pop pop and then you're reloading, and that's usually when you die when using this weapon online. I mean, at least with the crossbow, it's always going to explode. Like, you're never going to have a why didn't it explode moment. It's gonna explode. You could stick a car with the crossbow bolt and have the car explode and kill people nearby. Like, that can at least happen with the crossbow. The NA-45, you need to hit the car twice and accurately. Can't talk about Advanced Warfare guns without mentioning the variants, and I've never had a variant of the NA-45 that made it any more usable. I think I had one that had more accuracy, which I think toned down the first shot recoil a little bit. It still wasn't enough. So how close are we to the worst gun in FPS history? We're far away from it. Well, we are only on the 3rd episode. We're just getting some impractical things out of the way. Again, so we have gun with bad iron sights, the Uzi. We have a gun that requires you to move to charge it up. And we have a semi-automatic sniper rifle that fires a primer and a catalyst, and if you don't get the catalyst close enough to the primer, it won't create a little poopy explosion that's completely countered by flak jacket. And to be honest, this series isn't as hard to make as I thought it needed to be. I was overcomplicating in my head what it needed to be, but this is all it needs to be. A brief, concise showcase of a weapon with a brief and accurate explanation of why it's terrible. So I think this series will be weekly, give or take a day. Maybe it'll take an extra day to do it, or maybe it won't, depending on when I can sit and get gameplay. Other than that, let me know, have you had any good moments with the NA-45 in Advanced Warfare? Do you think it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be? Let me know, and leave some guesses as to what the next gun is going to be on this great little journey of mine. So in summary, the NA-45 has the most unnecessary steps in blowing up your enemies. I just recommend using a rocket launcher or a grenade, and yeah, I'll see you when I see ya. Goodbye!